Hello, this is episode 14 of the False 90 podcast. With me today, we've got Marcus, Kyle, and Lewis. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Yeah,
Alright.
alright.
All right.
Didn't do an intro today, no?
And no intro tonight because we'll start with the biggest story of the week, which was Rangers versus Slavia Prague. We'll start with the football and then we'll get onto the.
Yeah. Let's start off with the footballing side first. So, obviously, I hate. This is probably the first time I've said this. Rangers have been beaten. No, actually, did I do the St Mirren one? I can't remember.
Aye.
Anyway. So obviously Rangers nil, Slavia Prague 2, with Olyanka getting the goal and Stanchu is there in the second half. So this was always going to be a difficult tie coming in Ibrox because there was two, I would say, evenly matched teams in the first leg. And Slavia started how they started last week, or the previous week. They applied a lot of pressure on the first whistle. I genuinely thought this from when the team came out. I don't know why Gerrard dropped Hollander and Hadji. I thought that was really weird because that was obviously the scorer and the assistee of the goal against them, and Hadji's pressing always made them think second.
Expanding your lexicon, assistee.
Assistee, yes. I don't.
What a word.
What do you call them? The assistist.
I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, the assistee, I guess that works.
Assistee. Yeah, no, it's a fine word. I'm just like, oh, that's a word, eh? Not...
Come on, mate. I'm from
Anyway.
Dublin. Come on. So I'll get on to the first goal. So it was a good goal from their point of view. It was a good header down coming from Patterson's side. It was a good header down from Olyanka. I thought Goldson could have done a bit better, but in total, I thought it was just a really good goal, really good work goal. They made Patterson, which you could see they were going to use that wing to their advantage because Patterson's still a young player, he's still developing. So they used that to their advantage. You can see he was struggling against some of their players. We had a few chances ourselves. Had a Kent snapshot on the keeper, but it was really comfortable for him to put it for a corner. Morelos had a couple of shots outside the box. One looked like it was going in, but it just went wide. So it's not really much from our perspective, really, which is quite poor for home. Just before the half-time whistle as well, Balogun was caught out by a high press. Looked like he lunged in on the player when he was running in the box, but the ref said it was a clean tackle. I thought it was quite a clean tackle as well. Obviously, they shouted for a penalty as well. And then the second half, which is probably one of the weirdest second halves I've probably ever seen in football, to be honest with you. In the second half, they did continue to dominate, which you'd expect. A few subs were made from Rangers, including Kilmarnock came on. And within 5 minutes of him being on the pitch, he was chasing down a Goldson long ball. It looked like he was trying to get the ball down and control it, and he ended up smacking the keeper in the face. But it stood shown. It was the clearest red card you'll ever see. It was quite a terrible challenge as well when you're looking back on the replays.
Yeah.
But you can see but in his defence, you could see what he was trying to do with that. He was trying to take it over the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do. I think he just went about it
Yeah.
kind of the wrong way and got his foot in the keeper's face.
But you expect the keeper to come out, and
watching
obviously keeper trying to get it, get into his body, and Kilmarnock came in and tried to get the ball over him and started showing. But see, if he went with his head, that could have been a different outcome.
Yeah, because I think
very...
if he went with his head, the keeper could have clattered him, and it would have been, penalty Rangers as it always is.
Yeah, it's just some wee things like that you could clear up about this Rangers team. Obviously, they've been good.
Very similar to that sort of Sadio Mane Ederson incident. You kind of had tones of that where the ball's been played in, and you're in the one-on-one, and you can see what Kamara's got clear intent to sort of stab it into the goal, instead stabs the keeper's face. I don't know. Did any of you actually see the image of the goalkeeper?
Yeah,
I saw
afterwards,
it. It looks horrible.
I hope they keep it all the best, to be honest. Because obviously I was a goalkeeper as well when I played. It's one of the worst ones you could get. One of the worst defouls you could get. But that is basically where it went downhill from there. So obviously Rangers down to 10 men. Balogun chased another miscontrolled ball of his. He slid in, got shown a second yellow. Rangers down to 9 men. From there, you just knew the game was over. And And then from that free kick, the main man statue scored a really good free kick against McGregor with no chance from McGregor. And then there was an incident which is probably famous now, to be honest, about I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different points, but all the same point anyway. But there was alleged racist abuse to Kamara from one of their players. I can't remember his name.
Kudela.
Oh, he's going to live in fear, man. But from when I was watching the game live, I don't know if anyone else saw it live. Like we were just talking about this before the pod. So I don't think we want to delve too much into this because we all know racist. There's no racism should not be in football at all. Should be.
According to UEFA, there's no place for it, but then they don't back it up. So.
Yeah. It's. I see where they're coming from. Like, it's hard to tell because he did cover his mouth and then shouted. But then why else would you need to cover out your mouth?
Yeah, why would you walk over to someone, cover your mouth, and then it doesn't make any sense. And then we'll get onto it later, though. But
yeah,
especially with Kamara walking away and shouting, "That's racist," kind of thing.
You wouldn't react like that.
He's been racist, and then even it looked like their players heard it as well. To be honest,
are we just going to move on to that then, or?
Yeah, well, I've not got anything else. Well.
I know. What's really shocking is the response from Slavia Prague as a club. So not only the fans, obviously, they put that their ultras put up that picture, which is
sickening.
Yeah,
it just backs up what actually happened on the pitch.
It's their fans outside. I think it's their training ground with a banner that said "Kamara just a N-word."
Yeah,
which is disgusting.
If you've not seen it, go look it up. But it shows the mentality of the ultras for one part. But then, the argument about punishment. Oh well, it's not the fault of the club. The club. What really shocked me was the club came out with a statement basically backing up their player, saying he was assaulted in the tunnel afterwards, and that it's alleged abuse and there's no proof for it. But like, if you're any company, right, and one of your employees gets allegations of racism or any sort of abuse, the first reaction shouldn't be to defend. The first reaction is to investigate. And they've not done that. They've basically done all they can to try and sweep it under the carpet and knock it aside, which is the wrong mentality to deal with that. If that's any other football club, if that's like that, I'm using the analogy of a business, but even if it's any other football club, I'd expect them to have that stance with it. If that was Hibs and one of our players had alleged to have said something racist to another player, I'd expect us not to back our player, but to go and say we're going to look into this and punishment will be due because that's the right thing to do. But they just seem about protecting their player first.
Well, if you look on social media, there's a lot of Czech fans. I'm assuming they're Slavia fans trying to defend this in other ways as well. And so they're trying to defend.
How is its alleged racism a defense? Like if you look at the situation, like we were saying, I can't mind too, but he was having an argument with another player. Like it was like over something else, and then Kamara goes over and speaks to him, trying to calm the situation down, and then the guy Kudela or whatever goes over to him, covers his mouth, says it to, like, there's no need. I think Kudela says that his exact words were that you're a fucking guy. Like,
yeah, that's what Kudela said. He said
there is no chance in hell.
What he said was, it said accordingly on the Slavia Prague statement was like, "You effing guy."
There is no chance.
I think it makes sense.
There is no chance in fucking hell that he covers his mouth, says "you fucking guy," and Kamara and the whole Rangers team react like that. There is no chance in hell they all react like that if he says that. Because like it's so obvious.
It backs up on that though. Like if you're going to be on a camera and you're gonna swear, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to cover your mouth for it. Players swear on football pitches all the time.
The camera zooms in on them when they swear.
If you get in an argument with somebody, who the fuck thinks, oh yeah, I'll say you fucking guy as like a get back? Like, come on, like. Nah,
Kamara would laugh at that if anything.
I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that for one
Exactly,
second.
There's been incidences this season where players have swore and it's been audible. For example, with Scott Brown against Dundee United, Odson fucking pass at you.
Aye,
but I mean, my way of looking at this is the response from both Slavia Prague and UEFA has been ridiculous. So UEFA are looking into the alleged assault on
the Kudela.
Sam, you're going to need to give me his name, Kudela. by Glen Kamara, and allegedly Steven Gerrard's seen this as well. So they're looking into that, and that's all been passed on to Police Scotland. But they're not looking at it, no one's looking at the incident on the pitch.
That's the problem. I mean, we were saying before. Yeah, sorry.
In my opinion, if this, and there's no doubt this will turn out to be true, because there's no way the reaction that occurred from the Rangers players, the staff, the back room staff of the club. It wasn't just Gerrard, it was
director of football as well.
I believe your director of the football and I can't remember who all came down, but there was one or two other sort of head honchos at Rangers that came down as well. So if something like that's happened on the pitch, in my personal opinion, whatever's happened in that dressing room afterwards would be completely and utterly justified.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna punch someone, punch them for being racist, you know.
Punch them, aye, and obviously I can if any charges are brought towards Kamara for that,
that's ridiculous,
and not towards Kudela for any racist abuse. You know,
what I saw today was the police in Glasgow, Greater Glasgow Police, released on Twitter that they're aware of 2 instances that happened between the Rangers Slavia game, and one was for the assault, and the other one is for the alleged racist on the pitch. So the police are aware of it.
Yeah, I would trust Police Scotland to look into the racism allegations, but it should come from UEFA though. Like, this is a situation within football.
UEFA said
they're the ones pushing this kick it out, show racism, the red card, all that, and we're taking the knee. But when it comes to a situation where they need to be taking action, they're not taking action. And
exactly.
You know, as well, has UEFA actually said anything? No.
Well, they said they're investigating, but that's about it. I mean, Slavia have also have a reputation for this as well. Back in back earlier with Lukaku with Inter, there was alleged racist abuse there, and UEFA didn't do anything, or they've issued a fine which clubs can easily pay, which is a joke, really.
Know UEFA UEFA are the kind of organisation that aren't bothered by this though. Like, they're just wanting paid.
Well, exactly.
So, they'll say anything to have a good. Yeah,
there's a history of things like this happening in UEFA sanctioned matches, whether that be club competitions or international qualifiers or friendlies.
Bulgaria.
Look at England, Bulgaria, Slavia Prague, Inter Milan. I think there was a game like Macedonia and Serbia or something like that. And I said this to you last week. I think one of your biggest problems is you've got a subculture in the ultras, in these unfortunately in parts of Europe, like sort of the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Romania, you know. And I'm not saying every Eastern European.
It's definitely within the ultras culture. I get you there. It's definitely.
But within their sort of ultras culture and the sort of Eastern European, Eastern Bloc countries, there's a subculture of sort of racism and sexism and
neo-Nazism.
You had neo-Nazism as well.
You had as well. I think it was Zenit with Malcolm as well.
I remember actually seeing a video of a guy going to the CSKA Sofia ground in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And there's stickers outside the ground, there's swastikas, there's respect, like the UEFA respect thing. And it says respect racism, and then there's another one where it's a black man and a white woman and like a no smoking sign through it, and it basically says thank you for not mixing.
Yeah,
So-
no, fuck, no.
Aye, there's stuff like that across the sort of ultra culture in these
You know
parts
what?
of the
I
world.
always say, like, football. When people criticize football for problems within football, I always say, like, football is a representation of communities. Like, each club represents a certain community, and it reflects society as a whole. And so the problem with football hasn't. People say football is a problem with racism. It's no that. It's that we've still got a problem with racism in
Within-
society as a whole,
yeah.
and that's reflected in football. It's not a football problem. It's still a problem with society. Obviously, people turn it on football because, like I was saying a few weeks ago in one of the podcasts, people
Football's
are really
an easy
quick to blame.
target. Aye.
It's an easy target, yeah.
It's usually first to call to blame on anything.
Exactly, for anything ever, but so like it is truly something in greater society needs still, unfortunately, 2021
And
needs to
I think as well, it doesn't help that UEFA
Taking that
really
stance,
don't really do anything about it. Don't take a
because,
stand
like I was saying, they're the kind of organization that they didn't care. Like they're just worried about their profits. I sound like a right. I sound like a right socialist when I am a socialist, but I sound like a really stereotypical one when I say that. They only care about their profits. But they do though. Like they want to save face when they're saying all this show racism on the red card. That's so they can save face and have a good public image. They're not intending and actually doing anything about it.
There's been calls to expel Slavia Prague from European competition.
Yeah, and to me, that's the punishment that should be handed out.
No, I wouldn't say that's the only punishment. I genuinely think that they should not be allowed to compete anymore in this in the Europa League. Plus, they should get a couple of years banned in Europe as a whole.
But knowing UEFA, all they're going to get is like a £10,000 fine, and it's not gonna do anything.
And that's easy to pay off.
Exactly.
Under the carpet again.
When you're a big club who's playing in Europa League, a €10,000 fine is nothing. But if you
biscuit tin money.
Exactly,
especially since they're going to win the Czech League this year as well, and probably get. I mean, the prize money they'll get from winning the Czech League. I don't know how much it'll be exactly, but
I'm sure that'll pay that off pretty easily.
If it's a wee fine they're getting, and that helps certainly. I mean, but
this is Joe. It genuinely is. You're not going to eradicate every racist. There's always going to be people that will always be like that in the world.
But
you don't need to reflect that on like television, for example. Like obviously football games. You just don't. Just it's frustrating. To talk about.
If UEFA took a proper stand, then it'd be easier to stamp out, but
Correct.
they don't.
But why don't they?
UEFA only kick out. The only time that teams have been kicked out of Europe is for financial fair play, which is
because they care about profits.
Exactly.
Because it's an issue when it comes to affecting their profits, but it's because they're a business. It's just simple as. But
when it affects a whole group of people.
This is what I don't understand. If your transfers outweigh the profits of your club, you get banned from European competition for a season or 2 seasons, or you get banned from making a transfer.
Yeah.
In both windows, and that's immediate. That's stage 1. Okay, if you've got.
We've seen that implemented many times as well.
Chelsea, Man City, just 2 examples. I'm surprised the likes of PSG haven't been looked into their books
Milan
yet.
have, and Torino and Malaga and all that have suffered at the hands of UEFA in terms of financials. But the
punishments aren't equal.
The punishments for racism in football matches is there's like a 4-stage process. So the first time the game's stopped and there's an announcement put out. The second time the game's stopped and there's just another announcement put out. And then I think it's like they can remove some fans from the ground if they've seen them do it.
Which doesn't even stand nowadays because there's no fans in the ground. So they're not really doing anything about it.
Then your third...
They haven't taken into account it could be a player. In this case, it was a player, not a fan. So
I'm sure the third time it's like the game's suspended for like 5 minutes. It's like
it's
rubbish.
Then the fourth step is the game is abandoned.
A full abandoned game.
See, because partly because I don't want to talk about this for too long, but you know what? Moving away from the negative, something that I found quite positive was how Scottish football as a whole kind of came together in this. Because I know we did it, I know a lot of other clubs did it, but a lot of clubs came out on social media in support of Glen Kamara, and I found that Of course, there's Roof as well. So I've seen Motherwell and Dundee United have said they've taken a stance that they're going to stop taking the knee, which is fair enough. I mean, if it's an empty gesture, then there's no point doing it, which is good.
I've honestly thought since the start of the season it's an empty gesture.
Yeah.
It doesn't really achieve anything, does it?
It doesn't really achieve anything. I totally understand why it was done. It's like the idea of the, obviously the killing.
It made sense a year ago. It made sense at the time.
It made sense.
It's not I don't agree with not taking the knee. I just don't think that there should be any more politics than there is in football, because that's a political movement for a degree. So I don't think it should be integrating football the whole time.
I think it shouldn't. But in a way, to me, it looked like let's kneel down for racism. It wasn't let's stand up.
Like things
stand up against it. It's like let's kneel down against it. Let's not stand up against it.
Yeah.
Things like these didn't change anything. Like, it's for raising awareness, right? But like, everybody's aware of racism. Like, the problem isn't awareness. The problem is actually materially doing stuff to tackle it.
Educating people who
educating.
It's not that difficult to not be racist, but some people find it difficult.
But no, like I was saying, the positives though, like every club in Scotland came out in support. As far as I can tell, most clubs did. Celtic were supportive. We put. I'm a bit embarrassed. Not embarrassed, but like, I think we should have gone further, because we put out a wee post saying we're with Glen Kamara, we're against racism, and we had a wee picture of Doidge taking the knee. But I'm thinking, I'd rather Hibs said we're going to stop taking the knee. Like, I'd rather, like, we're a club that's founded on those ideals, that we're founded as a charity, a club for the working class and all that. So,
but even what I found powerful at the weekend was that Scott Brown went across to Glen Kamara in the old firm before the game, and
that was a big gesture. That
was a
as
huge
much
gesture.
as much as I hate him, I had a little bit of respect for him there.
Well, I
think
that shows something though.
It shows something about him as a person, because it's one thing being.
It just shows, all rivalry aside, rivals will come together to battle this massive battle of racism.
Aye.
You've got two teams there that are about to go to war for 90 minutes, in the words of Roy Keane. But can put the 90 minutes aside to go, nah, we stand with you, and we are for you. And it's like, even at the start of the game, the two, both sides stood there. And I remember seeing the banners came up like Celtic stand against racism.
Aye.
And all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I also read that after the game there was apparently a social media post aimed at Alfredo Morelos.
Aye, for a Celtic fan, I seen that.
For a Celtic fan, the boy's now been charged, obviously, but
lost his job as well.
Has he?
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't know anything more than that. I only seen it on.
He deserves it. If he's lost his job, then
the Greater Glasgow Police Facebook.
Yeah. So why doesn't, if a player does that, he should lose his job?
Yeah, no? I mean, should use his job and never get another job in football again. But UEFA aren't doing anything. I mean, Police Scotland haven't found anything yet.
So how are we so quick to arrest and charge a 17-year-old boy? But it's probably going to take us weeks, months to charge Cadella.
It's one thing.
That's even if he does get charged.
He's been charged over like his Snapchat story, whereas Cadella, like on live television, But I'm conscious though. I didn't want to talk about this too much. I mean, we've still got the rest of the podcast, And I think we've probably gone over everything that needs to be said about it anyway. So unless you guys have anything,
I kind of don't want to move on because it's a serious topic and we're going into something else. But
it would be nice to have a full podcast of talking about this. But we actually spoke about that, didn't we? We said we were going to do just a podcast on this, but I think keep it to football. We can touch on this.
But I think there's only so much that we can say now.
Aye.
And it will probably be something that we'll come back to later on.
And it's something people didn't care about. I mean, everyone listening probably has already heard about this in some. I mean, assuming that our listenership.
When more comes to fruition about it, when more news comes in, obviously Pod will come back to it. But at the moment, everyone here's totally with Glen Kamara and totally against.
Of course.
Anything that's happened on that.
Goes without saying. Aye.
I'm just going to finish on that. We're all with. Everyone that's been affected by racism, and obviously,
not
like recent events, Glen Kamara, Morelos, Kilmarnock, and all the players that's had to suffer that. Should never be in football at all.
And everyone's in society as well. That it goes without saying though. But
and also fuck Slavia Prague.
Pricks.
We're moving on now to the last game of the regular season in the Premiership. Started with a few games. Start with at Tannadice with Dundee United actually scoring against Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm. I think we're all surprised as each other, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we're all surprised there was actually a goal in this game.
Didn't we all predict 0-0s?
Pretty much.
I predicted one each. I was so close, so far away.
But Dundee United...
quite liked it at the time because I was sitting watching the Kilmarnock game, Kilmarnock Motherwell game, and then all of a sudden my Snapchat just popped up and it was just Kyle going, "There's been a goal."
It was quite a well-worked goal actually from Dundee United.
Sporler's been scoring a few. He's like a left back, or they've moved into winger now. But it's fine. It's good for him. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a good link-up play, and Shanklin found Sporler in the middle. It's a well-worked goal, and Dundee United, they've finished in the bottom six, but I think in an eighth place at the moment, I think they're pretty safe from the drop, which I think that was their goal at the beginning of the season. They're safe.
Well, for a team coming up, I mean,
exactly, yeah.
So I think there's only 3 teams you can talk about now that are for relegation. It's Kelly, Hamilton, and Ross County. They're the ones I see as being in danger. Motherwell, the likes of Motherwell, Dundee United, and that'll be safe.
Well, Motherwell did lose to one of those relegation candidates 4-1 at the weekend, which was shocking to I think everyone.
Go on, Lewis. Give us your review, mate.
I will take the same words in direct quotation from the article on the Motherwell website, which was Motherwell shot themselves in the foot. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. We ripped our feet off, said that's what we think of feet, and then went out and played Kilmarnock. So I was actually like a minute or two late to the game, and you know that way where you think in football, where even if you're watching the game, it's like that minute or two, it's like I'll just go and get a pie and get my seat.
There's always that second thought, like, am I going to miss something if you're at the game and you go get a pie or something?
So what I missed was a Kyle Lafferty pinger going over the top of Liam Kelly.
Within a minute, that goal was
within a minute. It was I don't know what happened. He basically gets played out to the edge of the box and just thinks, I'll have a pop, and Liam Kelly's caught off guard, unfortunately. Then Barry Maguire gets his first goal for the club off a deflection from Jordan Roberts. And then it was a quick fire double from Rory McKenzie and Chris Burke just before the 60th minute mark, which completely put Kilmarnock in the driving seat before Mitch Pinnock decided to really put the nail in the coffin. Obviously, you've said already, Motherwell now don't take the knee for standing up to racism before the match, but there's not really much anything else I can say. A couple of close chances. Roberts' volley hitting the post, and we brought on Chris Long and Stephen Wallace to try and get a bit of spark back in, but it just didn't happen. It was set pieces that kind of let us down. We couldn't defend corners or crosses, and everything that sort of came in towards the box from a sort of out wide position was just falling for Kilmarnock the full game. I actually got to the stage that once the fourth one went in, I actually closed my laptop down because I couldn't go through the torture anymore.
The equivalent of leaving the game early.
It was the equivalent of leaving the game early, and I honestly would have been halfway up the road at the end of this game had I been there.
So you just got your Kelly pie, missed Kyle Lafferty's goal, and just left.
Aye, that would be it. I only came for the pie. I mean, as much as I can sit here and go 4-1, we're still clear of the bottom three. It's like a good margin.
6 points is the difference at the moment.
6 points, yeah. So we've now got to play St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Ross County, Hamilton, and I can't remember who the other one is now.
St Mirren.
No, St Mirren, Ross
Killy.
County.
Did you say Killy?
Killy. Aye, Killy.
St Mirren, Dundee United, Ross County, Killy, and Hamilton.
United.
Yeah.
Aye, that's it. I couldn't mind the other one. I couldn't mind if it was Dundee or Livy, but I know they were sitting scrapping it out for a wee bit.
They're well in the top half.
Aye. So, I mean, in fairness, kind of glad to let Kelly get a couple of points to put the pressure on Hamilton. But I would have rather it had been a wee 1-0 or a 2-1 instead of a 4-1 thumping at a team that's for a couple of weeks there were bottom of the league.
Bottom halves could be really interesting though, because there's only 2 points in it right now.
Yeah, 2 points between 12th
I think
and
the bottom half of the bottom six is more interesting than the top half of the bottom six.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, I mean, it's like that every season, but it's that way where it's like, you know, Motherwell and Dundee and St Mirren will just kind of scrap it out for 7th and 6th, 8th place.
Which don't really mean anything.
Aye, doesn't really mean much. It's just I'd be nice to I'd take a 6th place finish after the crap start to the season. But it'd be more interesting to see who out of Ross County and Kilmarnock and Hamilton kind of gets in that playoff place, who goes down and who just survives. Although I could put money on who's just going to survive. Because it happens every single fucking year.
Don't even know.
But I think, going back to Killy, I think if Killy stay up, it's going to be Carl Lafferty who keeps him up, because he's been brilliant the past couple of games.
Nah, it's Edna Mode, the manager. Honestly, I was watching the stream that just close up. Well, it was a close up of Tommy Wright, and I genuinely went, the way his hair was sitting and everything, I was like, he actually looks like Edna Mode for The Incredible.
What? So does that make Carl Lafferty Mr. Incredible?
Anyway, no comment from him. No comment from him.
Moving on, I think we're going to go to the Tony Macaroni for Livy versus Hibs.
That's
me,
cheese
shack.
Right. I thought we'd win this game. I don't think we started that bad. We didn't start amazing, but it was kind of really typical Hibs kind of last few weeks where it's just kind of meh, you know, like there's no real fluidity in our build-up play. Although first half we still had the better chances than Libby, I'll say. Overall, but yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. I wasn't out of my seat or anything. Then kind of we're pushing them back and they're hitting us in the break, which I'm thinking that's going to be pretty dangerous because we've been conceding a wee bit from the break. We're better as a team when we were hitting the other team in the break, but we were the team with all possession. Boyle has a chance like 10-15 minutes in, that's, you know, he's in tons of space in the box, scuffs it wide. Then it's just we're around Porteous, like he is, people forget he's still a young player, he's like 21 I think. He's got bags of potential, but like young players will make mistakes. You could argue that Porteous makes too much mistakes or too many mistakes, but
he probably just highlighted more because he plays in that central role.
I think because he broke his way into the first team kind of a few seasons ago and he was outstanding for a while. I think people in our fan base hold him to like the same standards we would like, you know, an experienced player, but like we forget he's still young. So, but no, this mistake is honestly anyone who's seen the highlights or anything, it's terrible. Like he's got so much time to clear it, but he literally nods it back to the keeper when Sibbald is there. So it's an easy goal for Sibbald to go and score. Liverpool 1-0 up when arguably we've been the better team. But
it's the story of Hibs this season, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. We've been the better team, and then other team go and score, and then we just down tools for there. But to be fair to us, like we did last week against County, we had to fight our way back into the game, and I think I said in the preview that I fancied Deutsch to score, and he went and got the goal. It was a dodgy finish. Like the keeper should have saved it, but I'm not complaining. It's a goal. It's good for Deutsch to get back on the score sheet. And from there, he scored in like the 35th minute or something like that, 34th. So we've got the whole rest of the game to go. I'm thinking we've been the better team here. We could go and win this. Teams come out for the second half, and we put in such a dominant display at second half. Like that's more kind of the Hibs I expect. Like on the front foot, making chances, making runs in behind. We shifted Boyle out to the right hand side, which I think we've seen that he's effective up top as a striker, but I think that game reminded us how good he is out wide when he's exploiting a fullback. He had tons of space to run into. Nisbet was fantastic in his link-up play. Jackson Irvine had a brilliant game, and again, just want to say I really hope he signs a new deal, which I think he will do now that he's come out and spoken about it a wee bit. I think him and Ross are having chats over the international break about that.
Good player.
Definitely.
Irvine did he get called up for the Australia squad? I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he must have. Yeah, he's usually in that squad A. So I've not actually seen their squad A. Well, we can talk about international football later with the Scotland squad, but and then nothing really happens in the second half in terms of goals. Well, obviously it finished 1-1, but we had some really good chances. Like I genuinely feel like if we're a bit more cutting edge with some of these opportunities, then we can go and win that game. But at the end of the day, the final whistle goes, and I'm thinking, Aberdeen have lost. We're going into the split. We're another point away from them. If Aberdeen had won that game, I think I wouldn't have been that positive about the result. I would have been thinking that's a major chance missed, or we've slipped up and let them back into it. We've got the split now, and they would have been 3 points behind at that point.
Now it's 7 points now with 5 games in the split. So
So at the end of the day, it's still a good position to be in. I mean, it's a point further to where we want to be. We know we can't catch Celtic in second, so it's just about every point that gets us closer to third place and securing that European spot. And what we've been fighting for since the start of the season was third place. So it's not too bad considering Aberdeen lost. But could have been a bit more cutting edge, but it wasn't the worst.
Yeah, and we'll move on. There was a race for the top 6 between St Mirren and St Johnstone. It was St Johnstone who got it with a 1-0 win over Ross County. Glenn Middleton with a good goal after he missed a golden edge chance a little bit earlier. He did score late on, which secures St Johnstone's place in the top 6, an 86th minute winner. But it was St Mirren who were in the driving seat, but they're seemingly allergic to the top 6. They took lead through McGrath penalty, but they came up against Hamilton, and Hamilton do what Hamilton do best, and ruined everything with an 89th minute equaliser from Monroe. Did any guys catch these 2 games?
No.
Catch any of the highlights or anything? Or anything to say? Because
no, it's good to see Glenn Middleton getting doing decent at St Johnstone from a Rangers point of view. I think he's a really good player.
Yeah, really he had a half decent spell at Hibs when he came.
Half decent? Did you?
Half decent. He was probably arguably one of your best players.
Best players? He was actually terrible when he was at us.
Oh really? Well, who did really well for you from Rangers then?
Greg Docherty.
Docherty, yeah.
No, Middleton was useless when he came to us. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying when he was at us.
I think he had a couple of moments, but
he made 2 runs against Hearts, and that's all I remember doing. Like he was useless when he was at us. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I've no I'm not going to judge a player I've only seen like a few games, and it was Hickey as well, and nobody had a good game under Hickey when he was in that season. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was brilliant when he was at us anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll move on to the biggest game of the weekend now, which it was the Old Firm at Parkhead.
Yes, it wasn't. It's hard to say. It wasn't. Well, from watching the game, didn't look like it was going to be like one of them Old Firms where you see crunching tackles and people red cards and stuff like that.
I think Rangers had their fair share of red cards in the game before.
I don't even know. But yeah, came to this game semi-confident, and I wish Andy was on here right now to have a couple of. There's a couple of instances where probably go different ways, but obviously ended 1 each in a probably a fair result game with both teams having chances to score. So it's probably a fair result in the end, to be honest. So they did take the lead with Mohamed El Yunusi. It's good play down the right side. Balogun getting caught out again. Good cross from Edouard. I thought Balogun could have done better, at least to try and stop the cross from coming in. And then it's a 50-50. It's a bit like the Slavia goal, their first goal as well. It's literally from the same side and almost the same goal with the diving header.
I think it's. I think you're missing Tierney, not Tierney, fuck's sake. Tavernier on that side. Yeah.
Even Patterson, I don't know why Gerrard's doing this. If I had to criticise Gerrard, which obviously he's been really good, really good this season, why is he changing that wing? Why does he not just keep Patterson from the start?
Yeah, I actually agree with Kyle there.
Why is Balogun? Right. Why is a natural right back not playing at right back, and you're playing a centre back at right back instead? It's beyond me. It really is beyond me. I'm not sure I criticise Gerrard, but obviously Balogun's got the more experience. That's probably why he went with him. And it's obviously we had from our goal, and we shot until later. It was good to have the three centre backs in the box. But again, I genuinely don't know why, because Patterson, Balogun doesn't go up. He doesn't do what a Tavernier does or a Patterson would do, and go up and challenge their left back. So again, I don't know why I didn't start Patterson, but thought Balogun could have done better with the cross from Edouard, and it was a good finish with El Yunusi, to be fair. So wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
Kyle, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but Brora Rangers are beating the mighty big team Heart.
Am I allowed to continue?
Of course, man, of course. I'm just.
So there's a few more chances as well, and then obviously there was an incident involving Barisic and Edouard, ending up with a yellow card for Edouard for simulation. What do you guys think of that? Did you see the instance?
Yeah, I saw it. It's one of those where I don't think Edouard dived, but I don't think there's enough contact for a penalty. If you get what I mean. Like, because Barisic did slide in, and I'm not sure if I saw contact or not, but I can understand why Edouard went down, but I don't think it was a dive from him.
It's one of those where if it's given, it's one of those where you're saying I can understand it, but it's a soft one. But if it's no given, then you're saying it's no penalty. Like, it's borderline, but then booking for a dive, borderline as in it's not a penalty, but you've seen them given for being a penalty because I don't know. Maybe if booking was a wee bit harsh.
This is why I wouldn't say it was harsh at all.
I'll have another look at it now because
okay. Yeah. Yes, Barisic did tackle, and he did make a tackle, but by that time Edouard was already away. He was away from him, so the tackle actually didn't touch Edouard at all. So he was expecting contact, I would say, and he completely mistimed his dive, and he got what he deserved. My opinion.
I'm looking at it now. These are the Sky highlights, and the angle doesn't really help.
Yeah,
because
the replays for the angle, the angle for the replays wasn't great. You can't. I think you can tell there's no contact, but you can.
There's no contact, but like if Edward hadn't have gone down when he did, there would have been. Is the thing?
Yeah,
which is difficult. So technically, then he's gone down without contact.
So it's a dive and it's simulations, which is a yellow card.
I'm tending to agree with
Kyle.
Kyle, actually. Now I've seen him. I'm tending to agree with Kyle. But the thing is, if he'd stayed in place, it would have been quite a bad challenge. It's a really tough one. But anyway,
he got what he deserved. I think the ref did well on that too. I thought it was a penalty at first.
Yeah, I think when you first see it, you see Barisic sliding in, you see Edward go down, you think it's a penalty.
Yeah, you think it's a penalty, but then you see it.
Then you see the replays, and I think the referee did make a good choice there, not pointing directly to the spot straight away.
Yeah. So after that, Celtic continued to dominate down the right hand side. Balogun getting literally in no man's land again. Callum McGregor got a shot, but it was easy save from Adam McGregor. And we'll come to the Rangers goal now. So it was a corner, set piece, which would be poor from Celtic's point of view to concede, because they've been conceding a lot of set plays this season. Barisic with a really good ball in, and obviously we having I literally said we capitalise. I said this to my dad, we capitalise in set plays because you've got 3 central defenders in that box. And it was our centre back at right back who got the initial header. Paul looked like it was going out, but then the main man himself, Morelos, getting his first goal against Celtic, which was good to see. So now all the Celtic dads can stop saying, "Oh, but he hasn't scored in a big game against Celtic." He has now, so sit down.
Nice.
That's told them.
And I like the celebration as well, where he did the 55, because it was a 55th league goal. By the way, if Celtic didn't lose against Dundee United, he would have won 55 on his 55th goal.
Just
saying. I'll tell you what, that would have been
written in the stars. That was.
But it wasn't.
It's funny how. Sorry.
No, on you go, man. On you go.
I was just a wee point. I was going to say it's funny how some clubs are associated with certain numbers. Because I mind a Jambo mate of mine. Because I mind Aaron Hickey scored the winner in that derby a few years ago, and a Jambo mate in mine was like, "It's funny how Aaron Hickey wears the number 51, and then he scored the winner against you in the 51st minute." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that is a bit weird, isn't it?" You know, but and then you go out there again, obviously, and then there was that thing where Simunovic wore number 5, and it was like. Was it Billy McNeil, and then who was the other guy that died for Celtic a few years ago, or a year ago?
I don't know, couldn't tell you.
Anyway, and then, oh my, this is really embarrassing. I was at Chalmers. Something. I'm not a Celtic fan. If Andy was here,
I can tell you.
And then Jozo Simunovic, who wore the number 5, scored in the 67th minute or whatever. It's funny how certain numbers work out, you know. But anyway, I was just thinking about that here. But it's like I said, it's funny. Morelos 55th goal in that. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few chances Celtic had as well. Thought Welsh had a really good game. Edward had a shot on goal. Really good play from Celtic. Looked like it was going in actually through McGregor's legs, but good save from McGregor and then went in.
I think it was one of Celtic's best games for a while.
Yeah, they played well, to be fair. They were the better team over the 90.
Yeah. I mind you saying in the group chat at the time, because I was out with a pal, and then I was just kind of checking the chat in the meantime, and I was wondering, I wonder how it's going, and I seen Kyle says you've been the better team, and I was like, oh well.
Yeah, but it was one of them games where we both had chances. Obviously, you expect us to sit in a more than being on the attacking front, because it's at Celtic Park.
Yeah, and you're defending your unbeaten run in the league.
Yeah, defending our unbeaten run, but we also had a fair good chances as well. We had our set play. There's a Ryan Kent instance where Ryan checked back on Hadji and made the run through the defence. To be fair, defences looked all over the place. Celtic's defence for that instance. Ryan's Kent, Hadji with a great ball, Ryan Kent with a volley, and it was a good save from Scott Bain.
But I mean,
there's a few instances from Celtic as well. Oh, sorry, man.
I was going to say, you go on. Sorry.
There was another penalty claim, I think, as well, which looked another dive from Edward. So I think that he should have been sent off. I know people will disagree with me, but I thought that he could have had a second yellow quite easily, to be fair. But there's a few chances in the game, really. There was not really much to report in the second half, to be honest. There's a roof instance as well, where it looked like it was rattled off a couple of players and it literally could have went anywhere. But I thought Scott Wright was really promising when he came on again. Definitely, Gerard said he's a prospect for next season, so we'll develop him.
Aye.
But yeah, overall, it's just a fair result, to be honest. I think obviously it's probably a point gain for us more than Celtic would probably say, because they needed it to win for pride. Obviously, there's not much to play for now. But
at the end of the day for Rangers,
fair result overall.
At the end of the day for Rangers, it's a point at Parkhead, and it's kept their unbeaten run going.
Play from my Parkhead is I'll take it.
It's kept the unbeaten run going. There's only 5 games left, so it's it's looking good. Hopefully, I haven't jinxed it for you guys there.
Well, we play Hibs next, so
it's at Ibrox, isn't it?
Yeah.
After the international break, but I think we should move on to the quiz.
Yes.
I've done the quiz again.
The hard one.
Yeah, I've done the quiz again. This time it's very difficult.
Don't say that.
Okay, so first question is: there are 2 teams to have won the league in all 4 of the Scottish leagues, all 4 of the Scottish leagues. Not the non-league.
There are 2 teams to have won the league in all of the Scottish leagues.
In all four of the divisions.
One's Rangers.
Celtic and Rangers. All right. Well, Kyle got Rangers there.
And I'll give you a point for who it is. So we've got a point for Rangers.
Hibernian.
Point for the seasons as well.
Really.
So it's the Premiership.
Right. Okay. 2000. Because I said the club first.
I'll say half a point for each season.
All right.
2012, 2013.
Yep, was for. Yep.
3rd division. 2013, 2014.
Yep.
Wait, I've misunderstood the question because I thought you meant in all of the iterations of the league.
Oh, boo-hoo!
No, I meant all of the 4 divisions. So nowadays, Premiership, Championship, League 1, League 2.
Livingston.
No, it's not Livingston.
Oh damn! Okay.
So after
you give me the Championship one, no?
You haven't said the Championship one yet, no.
Well, that was 15, 16.
Yeah.
Partick Thistle.
It's not Partick.
Queen's Park.
Is it Dunfermline?
It's not Dunfermline or Queen's Park, no.
3rd Lanark. I'm gonna go.
No, because do you remember the 4th division or League 2 now? That only came in about the 80s. So
it's not a team like that. Eh?
Is it East Stirling? No,
it's not East Stirling. No.
What, Dumbarton?
It is Dumbarton.
Nice, man.
Yes. And I need to name the season.
Good luck.
Now. Oh no, I don't know a thing about Dumbarton.
I'm gonna get Harry McCormack on the podcast.
Nah, I'm not even gonna try. To be honest. I don't know anything about.
Okay, is anyone named when Rangers have won the Premiership?
2020, 21.
There you go.
Do I get a point for each year, no?
I get half a point for each year. Make it a bit equal.
Right.
Yeah, so Rangers, Carl's named all of that. Dumbarton, they won the Premiership in 1891-92.
Oh, aye, because didn't they? They won the first ever Premiership.
And they won the second division in 1971-72. Won what's now League 1 in 1991-92. So 100 years after they won the Premiership. And then they won the 4th tier, so League 2 now, in 08-09.
I'm going to go Falkirk.
There was only 2 teams.
Yeah, there's only 2 teams.
Oh, was it only 2? Alright,
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, going back to that 12-13 season with Rangers in...
My God.
In SPFL 3, they lost 3 times that season. Who did they lose to?
Stenhousemuir?
No, it's not Stenhousemuir.
How are you taking the mick? Come on. How am I meant to know this?
East 5.
Like, you were the ones at the game.
Could be right with East 5. Yeah, I was at...
It's not East 5, no.
Oh.
Give
Aluear.
it...
Oh, no.
Same old Aluear. Always cheating.
He's cheating.
No, it wasn't Aluear though.
Sullen Albion.
Sterling Albion's one of them, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
East Stirling.
East Sterling, no.
Nah, they're terrible.
Clyde?
No, they don't even exist anymore.
No, wait.
It's not Clyde, no.
God. Queen of the South.
No, Queen of the
They've
South,
never
no.
been that far down.
No.
Morton.
No, it's
Queen
not
of
Morton, no.
Peterhead was one.
Peterhead's one of them, yep.
Montrose.
Montrose is the other one. No, it's
Annan.
not. Annan's the other one, yeah.
No way.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so
I remember the Peterhead now. But
there's only 2 teams who have never been relegated from the Premiership, Celtic and Aberdeen. I want you to tell me where their worst ever finish is. So
Aberdeen finished 12th.
So I was going to say Aberdeen's came in a 10-team league, and Celtic's came in a 16-team league.
Oh my God! Because I know they finished bottom, but they were saved by like league reconstruction or something.
Yeah, they were actually.
Is Celtic not finished in 12th place?
Yeah, Celtic finished in 12th in 1947-48. There was 16 teams in there. And then Marcus, I'm going to give him the point for saying that Aberdeen finished bottom of the league in 99-2000.
The point. I wouldn't even give myself the point for that because I said 12th, but...
You said they finished bottom though. They were only saved because the Championship playoffs couldn't take place because Falkirk didn't have a stadium fit for the Premiership.
Oh, is that why? Wasn't some team saved because they reconstructed the league? And obviously it wasn't Hearts because they wanted that. But
no, so Aberdeen were saved in the late 90s by Falkirk, and then Motherwell were saved in the early 2000s by Airdrie.
Okay. Oh, right, okay. I'm just getting mixed up.
We're going to go back to Rangers again because they're the only British team to ever have a perfect season, which is win every game in the league. And they did that in 1898-99. There were only 5 other teams worldwide to have done it. Which name the team. I'm going to give you the countries, okay? I'm going to name the team and the season it happens. So the countries are Argentina, Hungary, Germany, Uruguay, and Mauritius.
Oh, I was going to say the strongest.
Boca Juniors, no.
I was going to say the strongest, but obviously Bolivia isn't there.
No.
River Plate?
No, it's not River Plate.
San Lorenzo.
It's not Independiente or San Lorenzo in Argentina.
Oh, gee. Arsenal.
Gimnasia y La Plata.
No, you're just going to...
Arsenal, but the Argentinian one.
No, it's not.
Wait, no, it's Everton. Sorry, it's Everton that's...
What countries did you say?
Argentina, Hungary, Germany, Uruguay, and Mauritius.
French Faroes?
French Faroes, yep. Can you name the season they did it in?
1962-63.
No, they did it in 1931-32.
I was close enough. Right. What other countries were there?
Boys.
No, you're literally naming every Argentinian club except this one.
Rosario.
Is it
Banfield?
Lannis?
It's not Lannis or Banfield.
Is it Banfield?
No. We mentioned them last week. In my last other quiz.
What? Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, because that... Uruguay. Who plays it? See, what were the countries? Uruguay...
Argentina, Hungary, you've got Germany, Uruguay and Mauritius.
Germany, Mönchengladbach?
No, this team in Germany, they play in the regional tiers now. I'll give you that clue.
1860 Munich.
No. They won it in 1942-43. I'm going to give you that.
Well, for all I know, they could be a club that's not around anymore, eh? So.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you any of them, mate, to be honest.
Are you going to keep on rattling off Argentinian clubs until you get this one?
For Uruguay, the only club I could name you is Peñarol.
It's their arch rivals. Do you know who they are?
That's literally the only club I know that are from Uruguay.
Do you know Peñarol's arch rivals?
No.
Have you got any idea for the rest of this one?
I know one Argentinian club.
Go on.
It's like racing.
It's Racing, yeah.
Really?
No way.
It's Racing. You named every Argentinian club except Racing.
No way. Oh my god.
Hold on. Isn't there... Is it Nacional?
Nacional did it in Uruguay, yeah. Can you name the years that Racing and Nacional did it in?
Did Nacional do it in 1915-16?
No. Nacional did it in 1941, and Racing did it in 1919. The German club is Dresdner SC.
Oh, I don't think they're around anymore because it's Dynamo Dresden, isn't it? No.
Yeah, and you weren't going to get this at all, but the club from Mauritius was Sunrise Flak United, and they did it in 1995-96.
Oh my god, yeah. That was at the back of my head, of course it was. You know.
Oh yeah, guys,
that.
come on.
Come on, guys. Biggest
I'm a
club in
massive fan of
Mauritius, come on.
Sunrise. I'm a massive fan of Sunrise, I am.
And there was one more question. Oh, the complete opposite of the last question. But there is one team in Scottish football history, who have not won a game all season. And they did it in the Championship. Can you name the year, the club, and maybe their record as well?
Brecon?
Brecon, yep.
And they did it... Oh my god.
It must have been ages ago.
No, this was recently, because they were in the champion...
2015-16.
Surely not.
Close, you're close.
Really?
2016-17.
I'm not going to give any words, it's not that.
2014-15.
No.
18-19?
No.
17-18.
17-18, there we go.
Wow.
Can you name what their records? They played 36 games that season. So they won none of them. No, they did draw a few games. How many games did they draw?
That must be embarrassing.
1-0, drawn 3, lost 33.
Oh, you're so close. It's 1-0.
Draw 5.
No, they drew 4. They drew 4. Lost 32.
Lost 32.
Yeah. Ouch.
Did the manager get sacked?
Probably. I didn't actually look it up, but
Sounds like Hickey that managed them.
yeah. Scores quickly. So ooh.
It's going to be close, isn't it?
So Lewis got 3 points, Marcus got 4, and Kyle got 6. Maybe because there are quite a few Rangers questions in there.
Yeah.
Alright, come on, Sam.
I'll take the dub. I'll take it.
I think it's predictions.
I think it's review because we did pretty terrible from last week's predictions. So I'll start off drawing in the last place. I should do the worst prediction of the week. That's a new thing we'll do. And it is, who am I going to go for in this instance?
And drag it out. It's going to be me in the 3-1.
We'll go with
Motherwell, isn't
it? Well, they're both you, so apart from the 5 each, because that's not a bad prediction. That's just funny. It's both from you with your Dundee United Aberdeen prediction, which was 3-1. You said to Aberdeen, and another 3-1 you said to Hibs.
Me?
No, Lewis.
Yeah, I thought you would beat Livy 3-1.
Right. What did I say then? Did I say 2-0?
You said 3-0, mate. That's quite embarrassing as well.
So how does Lewis get us?
Don't complain because it's the worst prediction, mate. Don't complain that you want the worst prediction.
Right, come on, right. Okay. So, Lewis and Andy are both with nothing. That's how poor it was.
Oh dear.
and you've got two people. Actually, I'll say who. So somebody did get a prediction fully right, and it was, unfortunately, Marcus.
Oh,
yes.
St Johnstone, Ross County, 1-0. St Johnstone.
Did I? All right.
Yeah. So Marcus with 4, and then myself and Sam with 1 point. And Sam, you got your point for the Old Firm game.
Okay.
2 each. And I got my point for the Hamilton St Mirren game. No, I didn't. I got mine for the St Johnstone, Ross County. I predicted to put it 2-0.
Okay. I'm ending the score, the overall score. So I'm on 21. Kyle, you're on 18, right?
Yes. Sam's on 13, and Lewis and Andy are. Lewis is on 9, and he's on 2.
It's mainly because Andy doesn't send in his predictions.
I know. It's poor. Even Lewis did it.
Anyway, right. This weekend is the international break. Fun.
Yes, unfortunately.
But we've got 3 Scotland games, so we're going to do those predictions instead.
Right, just so you know, I have absolutely no idea about international games. I don't know how good Austria are. I don't really know how good Scotland are either, to be honest.
I think we should throw in some random other games as well, just for the shits.
See how we've only got 3 games.
Something randomly interesting
to review. Do you want to chuck in a couple of England games, Sam?
That's what I was going to say. We could chuck in a couple of England games. We can chuck in some other random games as well from across Europe, just to kind of help out a bit. So I'm just going to say,
false 90s is slowly becoming the £1 Paddy Power acca that you put on. That's going to bring you back like that.
That's exactly what it's going to be for the international games. We're just going to pick some random games and see what it comes out with.
I can't wait to predict French Polynesia against Samoa. Yeah, hang on.
But we're doing Scotland games first.
The Scotland games and England games. I've got that.
So it's tomorrow on Thursday. They play Austria at Hampden.
I don't know how good Austria are, to be honest.
In the World Cup qualifiers, first World Cup qualifier.
I'm going to say 1-0 Scotland. I don't know how good both teams are.
I think Austria are pretty decent. Haven't seen their lineup or their selection. They've got Zabitzer in there, Schrupp, Alaba. I don't know. These are players that play on a higher level than the SPFL, I guess. So we're going to be up against it. But then again, we have Scotland have been grinding out results against these kind of teams. Like the Czech Republic as well. I'd say is, they've got a decent squad. Serbia. I'll agree with Kyle. I'll say 1-0 Scotland because we're just going to grind it out. We're just going to defend and get a lucky break. Of course, it's got to be Kevin Nisbet.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Going into this one, I would go against Scotland and I would say Austria purely because
Scotland are shit.
Purely because 9 times out of 10 we're quite pish. And obviously you've got the likes of Sabitzer, Alaba, Hinteregger, Baumgartlinger. There's a lot of good players in the Austrian setup. However, they're missing Marko Arnautovic. So that's a bonus on top of the fact that we have got Che Adams, who's been doing all right in the Premier League. So we now have a Premier League quality striker who I really hope that will start over.
Because Ollie McBurney is not Premier League quality.
I am not watching. Apparently, actually, Jurgen Klopp was interviewed asking why Andy Robertson doesn't play as well for Scotland as he does for Liverpool. And he said, well, can you imagine driving the length of the pitch, taking on 6 players to look up to swing a cross in and realise it's Ollie McBurney?
Exactly.
So, given the fact that we've now got there's some new players in there, there's a wee bit of a mix in the squad, and hopefully we're spurred on by this Euro 2020 bracket 1 ambition that we've got. I'll go 1-0 Scotland. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Austria get a goal. So I'm going to go 1-0 and play it safe, but I still think we'll get the win, but it could be a 2-1 or it could be like a 3-2. I don't know, but I'll go with 1-0. Play it safe.
Fair enough.
I'm going to take the 2-1 actually. I think Scotland, I think Austria are a good team, but I think Scotland have an all-round better team. I think Austria have got a few stars, but Scotland have an all-round better team, and I think they're going to do the job 2-1. On Sunday, Scotland play a team they've played about 15 million times in Israel.
It's not Israel.
The mighty Israel.
All right, I'm going to go right in and say 1-1 because I swear they draw all the time. Or
they won the last few.
We won one on penalties, didn't we?
Yeah, so
when it was the qualifier.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you now the last 5 games Scotland plays against Israel has been 2-1 win for Israel, a 3-2 win for Scotland, a 1-1, a 0-0, and a 1-0 win for Israel.
Oh,
so yeah. I'm going to say. I know. I'm probably going to say. I hate to go against Scotland, but I'm going to say 1-0 Israel.
No, where is it? Is it at Hampden?
It says it's at Bloomfield Stadium, so I'm guessing that's the Israel Stadium unless they've moved it.
But that's it's the Hapoel Beersheva Stadium in Tel Aviv.
Okay, yeah, I'll stick with 1-1. Aye.
Well, I think it's Hapoel Beersheva Stadium. I'm not sure. It's just I know that's where we also played in our where Motherwell played in the Europa League qualifier in Israel.
All right.
The thing about this game is it's very much. It's starting to become a bit of a rivalry, isn't it? Like, we've played them that many times now. I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to actually think that like UEFA and FIFA just kind of go, Scotland's in a group. Do we need to draw Israel? Let's chuck Israel in there.
Just chuck Israel in there.
See, the amount of times that Marciano's done interviews on Hibs TV and they've gone and asked him, well, you must be familiar with the Scotland squad by now. He thinking, like, and they make the same joke every week. It's like, aye, right. It's like, yeah.
It goes either way. We've bet them 2-0 under McLeish, and then we got beat. And then obviously one on penalties under Steve Clarke, and then sure we drew the time after that.
Yeah.
In the Nations League. Well, no, we drew the time before that in the Nations League, and then bet them on penalties. I can't remember the order. We've played Israel too many times.
I mean, the fact that
Scotland got beat against Israel in the Nations League in November.
We got beat off Israel.
Yeah.
So going with that. So I can't. Scotland never will never win like a full 3 out of 3 in a qualifying run. So for that reason, I'm going to agree with Sam.
What did Sam do?
I haven't said anything yet.
Sam hasn't even went yet. Sorry. No, I think I'll agree with Kyle then. Sorry, I thought it was Sam.
1-0 Israel.
And go with 1-0 Israel. There's always one game that Scotland fuck, and it's going to be this one.
There'll be. I think for my prediction as well, because they're playing Austria first.
You've kind of got to go intense against Austria.
Yeah. I think they'll get the win against Austria, but then they'll lose against Israel.
And then
that's
they'll come
classic
back.
Scotland. That's classic
for
Scotland.
The next game.
I'm going to say 1-1 for this one because it's Scotland Israel and it's always bloody 1-1 and it's always a shit game to watch.
It's a tight game.
There's another game on Wednesday, which will probably be when we next record, and that's Scotland versus the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, probably watching that.
6-0 Scotland.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I've never put 6 on this before.
Just wait till the next game I've picked.
This is the kind of team that we should be beating 6-0, the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, I'm going to say... I'll go with 4.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be 6.
No, I think...
Faroe Islands, San Marino, Andorra, Gibraltar, these are all the teams that we should kind of just ease past. They're small nations with not really much footballing pedigree.
Farmers.
Basically literally farmers, aye. I don't even think the Faroe Islands have a domestic league. They probably do.
We played Runavik from their domestic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Runavik. Yeah.
And that's not the only team they got. They got a whole league though. They do, but it's all like wee towns that
it's like Sunday League kind of thing. Yeah.
It's quite confusing. You'd think that you would just take one team from like the Faroe Islands and put them into like the Danish league because it's a Danish.
The distance, though. I mean, the distance would kind of negate that. You know?
Flying 5 hours for your weekend.
So the population of the Faroe Islands is 52,000 roughly, which is, I think it's about this just under the population of Livingston. So this is what we're dealing with.
So basically, Scotland are playing Livingston.
Oh, but Livy's a tough place to go though. but we're at home though.
Is it Hampden? Yeah.
Sorry, it's at Hampden.
Do you know what the sad thing is? The Faroe Islands probably don't have a plastic pitch.
No, the pitch we played up in Runavik was plastic.
Oh yeah, because it would be because it's
because it's
all
weather, quote unquote. But yeah, anyway, that's my prediction.
So for that reason that it's like up there with like Andorra, San Marino, and Gibraltar, you know, like all the sort of Liechtenstein, all these sort of small nations in Europe that don't have, like, you name me one player from Gibraltar, you know what I mean? I'll go with 5-0 Scotland, and I would actually say a John McGinn hat-trick.
Ooh,
again.
I'd love to see it.
Because the last one he got was against San Marino. And if he's not been called up, I'd look like a right tip, but I'm pretty sure he has.
Yeah, he has.
John McGinn. It's John McGinn.
I'm going to say 4-1 for this one. Just because it's Scotland and I know they're going to concede a shitty goal of some sort.
Probably. We've got the England games?
Yeah, so I've picked 5 games that are not Scotland games. One of those is on Thursday, and it's between England and San Marino.
San Marino 5, England. Nah, I'm kidding. Obviously,
England what?
Nah, I'm just kidding. I'd honestly love to see San Marino win, but nah, I'm just kidding.
I didn't take your first answer, unfortunately.
I'll use my 5-5. I'll say San Marino 5 again.
That's going to be the worst prediction.
Tango thriller.
It's a good advertisement for international football.
I'm gonna go. It's England San Marino.
It'll be about 10-0 in all honesty.
I think it will be 5-0. I think it'll be 5-0 England. The easy one for the boys.
The thing is, I'm going to go with Marcus and say it's going to be a 10-goal thriller, but I'm going to say it's going to be England 9, San Marino 1.
These predictions are unbelievable this week.
Right. See, I'm going to counter. Basically, I'm going to counter Sam's logic there. I think if you've got an England team that's going to play San Marino and then play Poland, you're not going to start the likes of Harry Kane, you know, Jadon Sancho, Jude Bellingham here. This is probably a chance for Southgate to kind of get the young boys, like the younger boys, the less experienced boys, give them a run out. Maybe sort of Ollie Watkins.
But then again, it's still San Marino, the part-timers, so...
it's still San Marino, so I'm going to go 6-1 England. I'll go for that one.
I'm looking up who's even in the England squad. Because I just said Greenwood thinking he'd be called up.
No, he's not even in the... he's pulled out of the under-21 squad.
Of course,
Jesse Lingard is in the England squad.
It's only because he's had quite a good couple of weeks for West Ham.
He's been banging it at West Ham.
There's like Calvert-Lewin and that.
DCL,
yeah. I've picked another game that's on Thursday, and this is going to be one that you're going to all hate me for. It's Saudi Arabia versus Kuwait.
What the hell?
I told you it's going to be like a Bet365 hacker kind of thing.
2-0 Saudi Arabia, and the only reason I'm saying that is because they made it to World Cup a few years ago, 2018. So
Saudi Arabia.
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
What are you saying, Marcus? Sorry.
2-0 2-0 Saudi Arabia. I couldn't tell you how good either teams are in comparison.
I'm going to say 5. I'm going to use my 5-all on that.
I'm going to say 2-2. I know nothing about either side, but I thought it'd be just funny to throw a random game in there.
But Saudi Arabia, my logic is they made it to the World Cup in 2018, so they must be a decent side.
Yeah, but they got pumped by everyone. They got pumped
they
by
get pumped
5-0
by
by
Kuwait.
Russia in the first game.
To make it through qualifying, they must be better to some degree than the other countries in their region.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
That's why I think it'll be 5 each.
Kuwait's a tiny country as well.
Lewis?
I don't know. Yeah.
What a give a prediction for that.
Just pick a random score.
It's fucked.
This is the curse line.
You thought we were bad last week.
So,
oh no, we're gonna be terrible this week.
Do you know how you get like the gamble aware ads, and it's like, why did you put £10 on a random game in Panama?
When lockdown hit, and the only league that was still up was the Belarusian league, so you had folk like betting on the Belarusian league,
Dinamo Brest and all that stuff. Right?
Aye.
No, right. 1-0 Saudi Arabia. Right.
Okay.
I've got some more decent games. I've got 3 more games, and they're not as random. So on Saturday, it's Serbia versus Portugal.
Ooh, 3-1 Portugal. I'm literally just saying the first result comes to mind.
What are you saying? Sorry, Marcus.
Sorry, it was 3-1 Portugal.
3-1 Portugal.
Right.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Portugal.
Can I just say, Marcus, that's disgraceful that you don't even back your Ajax boy there, Dusan Tadic. That is.
Yeah, but it's Portugal are a decent side. Like
They've got Ronaldo.
Not Ronaldo.
Pertoni, man.
Yeah, who suffered a 1-0 defeat to Benevento. Oh, jeez. Sorry, Sam, on you go.
I'm going to say Portugal sometimes fuck up in qualifying, so I'm going to say it's going to be 3-2 to Serbia.
Wow.
That would be exciting.
That'd be a good game, too much.
There's 2 games on Sunday that I've picked. One of
Lewis, what did you say for that prediction? Sorry, I didn't get yours.
Even if it's not the Ronaldo show, you've still got Bernardo Silva.
Aye, they've still got a decent squad.
So 2-0 Portugal.
Okay.
There's 2 games I've picked for Sunday, and one of those is Northern Ireland versus the US.
What the hell?
Ooh,
As a
the
friendly.
United States.
They're rubbish.
No, they're an up and coming.
No, they're not.
They're an
They call it soccer.
They do. They're an up and coming team. Like they've got Pulisic, young talent like Pulisic,
Gio Reyna.
I
can see this being a draw.
Timothy Weah is part of the US.
He's actually banging it in at Lille at the moment. I mean, he had a pretty poor spell at Celtic, but he's
as much as they call it soccer, and it's like not even like the 3rd or 4th most popular sport over there. Like they've still got the infrastructure over there that even if it's a tiny percentage of the population that follows football,
Money as well. They still got money.
Yeah, and their team's up and coming. I think it'll be 2-0 United States. I think they'll win no problem.
I'm going 2 each for it.
Okay.
I'm going to use 3-3.
Whoa. Okay.
See, I can kind of see where you're coming from. We're like US are.
Let me actually see their squad. Let me have a look at it.
I know like Jonathan O'Para's in there. He's a centre back.
So the squad, they've got
mental pace.
Big squad. Anthony Robertson, who plays for Fulham, they've got.
Oh wait, they've got McKennie that plays for Juventus.
Weston McKennie.
Yeah.
Weston McKennie. And there's another one that plays in the German league, plays for RB Leipzig, but I can't mind his name. I don't think he'll have been called that.
They've also got a player who plays for Fortuna Düsseldorf called Alfredo Morales, which I found quite funny.
It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that.
It's like you go into Aldi and you
It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo Morelos, you get that. It's like when you go into Aldi and you ask for Alfredo
What's the bet say, Nick, to chant? Alfredo, 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 Alfredo.
Probably.
Aye, 2-0 US. We'll go 2-0 US, why not?
Okay.
And the last game that I've picked is Bulgaria versus Italy.
What the hell?
Match abandoned Bulgarian racism.
Probably, yeah.
That's a shout.
Are you saying match abandoned, yeah?
Match abandoned, yeah.
Actually, seriously.
You see, if there was fans here, I'd say match. If fans were there, I'd say it. But
no, sorry, I think if I said you were pretty confident with it. I asked you again, so.
Yeah, we'll go with match abandoned.
So the Italian I'm looking at now, they got Jorginho, Berardi, Belotti.
I think this will be a straightforward win for Italy. I'm looking at all these stats, right? Stats don't make up the games. I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to say 2-0 Italy. Easy one for them.
I'm going to say 4-1 Italy.
Was Ciro Immobile not like shortlisted for the Ballon d'Or? Something like that.
Yeah, he was. He's got about 1 million goals for Lazio last season.
Yeah.
4-0 Italy.
Cool. Right.
Yeah. We're just taking a piss in the internationals because, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about it. Well, I don't know nothing about them.
Do I, to be honest?
Anyone listening to the podcast, don't take our predictions literally. Please gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
Don't bet on Saudi Arabia versus Kuwait.
and if they made it this far, well done, because this is probably a long one.
It's not actually been that long, but I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it there.
Well, let's
enjoy the international break, and we'll be back next week. Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you guys for listening.
Cheers.
Yep. See you later.
Cheers.
Take care, guys. See you later.
Cue the tune.
The False 90s podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and our website at false90s.wordpress.com. For updates, follow False 90s on both Twitter and Instagram. And a big thank you to Fransisco Aluear and his track Space Game, which is our theme tune.
I'm actually just going to throw in a complete curveball here and completely kind of swing it a bit. I've just been reading there that Chad have been disqualified from the Africa Cup of Nations.
Really?
Because their football federation has been suspended by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and because it's like the government getting involved in a football association, then it's like an automatic ban from competition by UEFA. Yeah, they weren't going to qualify anyway, but
yeah, Chad are pretty shit.